If you told me 1 month ago that I was going to be so confident, so happy, so in love with myself, I would have stared at you with the dumbest stare that I could possibly do. Because how does one go from not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to see people, not wanting people to see her, to parading the streets, going by every window, going by every mirror, looking at themselves and being like, oh my God, I'm so cute. I love me some me. I'm gonna tell you how I did that. I realized about a week ago when I was feeling very ill. I had a flu. I was not taking care of my physical appearance. I could still look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my God, you're so cute. I love you. You are beautiful. And a month ago, I could be all done up and all dolled up and all cute. And that was not what I was thinking about me. I traced down my steps and I realized what I had done to get to this place. So parts of it have to do with me going through a breakup. Because if you're in a relationship, there's someone who chooses you every single day. It's so easy to have a little bit of self-worth because that makes you feel like you're worth something because they're choosing you. They're choosing you every single day. They're choosing to be with you. Even if the relationship isn't great, they still choose to be with you every single day. So that automatically just gives you some sense of worth. And it's not uncommon that people tend to put their self-worth on other people because how much easier is it to rely on other people to tell you that you're worth something or that you're smart and cute and attractive. I feel like not everybody does this, but a lot of people do this. In my last relationship, I did not feel chosen anymore. And obviously that made my self-worth feel so much less because I was basing all of my self-worth on being chosen. So what do you have to do if no one chooses you anymore? You have to choose yourself. And that conscious choice alone of choosing yourself does so much for your self-esteem and for your self-worth because you're showing yourself, you're showing your body, you're showing your mind, you're showing your heart that you're worth being chosen. So whether you have a partner, you have friends, you have family that all choose you or you don't, choosing yourself is the first step to building true self-confidence. And for me, I noticed that you don't have to do it wholeheartedly in the beginning yet. Because honestly, a few days before my breakup, I'd already made the conscious choice to choose myself. I had already chosen to do things outside of my comfort zone to make myself grow and heal. And that was also a way for me to choose myself. So choosing yourself is not about breaking up with a partner or not being friends with people anymore. It's about actively choosing things that you know will help you heal or grow or that make you happy. And you can really start by doing the smallest little things for yourself, like cooking a meal that you really love, or going to an exercise class that you know is good for your body, but also makes you happy doing. But the start is making the conscious choice of choosing yourself. Saying to yourself, I choose me, or even in the mirror, go and look at yourself and say, I choose you, and sticking to it. And like I said, you don't have to be all in the beginning yet because you've not chosen yourself for God knows how long. So you do not know how to act like a person who chooses themselves. But making that conscious choice in your mind and in your heart and in your gut is where things are going to start turning around. Another quick tip, if you are single and you're not on dating apps, just go on it for a second. Because I know that you might not want to date or you might not even be interested in being with someone right now, but it does really help kickstart your confidence. Because there's all these people, all these strangers telling you you're attractive, you're hot, you're cute. And obviously, self-confidence is something that comes from within. It might spark something in your brain to believe differently about yourself. Because if you're not self-confident, you most likely think negatively about yourself. You probably think that you're not attractive, that you're not hot, that you're not cute. So seeing a different narrative about yourself might help start that self-confidence a little bit. We gotta use every tool that we have in reach to get the self-confidence to where it needs to be, right? So when you've actively chosen yourself, it's all about sticking to it and starting to act like a person who chooses themselves. And how do we do that? By making every single thing in your life be about you. I understand if you have kids or people or pets to take care of, you cannot do every single little thing for you. But then besides the things you have to do for other people, all the other things are going to be for you. From the clothes you wear, to the workouts you do, to the food what you eat, it's all gonna be for you. Every single little action you can do to show yourself you are wanting to take care of yourself and you are wanting to give yourself that love and that attention, you're gonna do. And why I'm choosing the examples of food and working out is because taking care of your body is showing your mind that you're worth being taken care of. And wearing the clothes that you want to wear that make you feel good is showing your mind that, oh, I am worth putting in effort to look good, so I must be worth it. When you choose your health, you are showing yourself you're worth caring for. So we've chosen ourselves, we're taking care of our bodies, and now we should also take care of what's happening in our mind. Thoughts you have about yourself obviously play a big part in how you feel about yourself. I'd say most people have 10 to 20 reoccurring thoughts. These thoughts are all like the core of where our self-doubt and feeling of unworthy comes from. These thoughts kind of play on a loop in your brain, and they also tend to be one thought and make you spiral down a negative spiral. And I feel like a lot of us out there are constantly drowning out these thoughts. We constantly listen to music, we listen to podcasts, we have a series on the background. If not that, we're calling with someone, or we are distracting ourselves with anything else so that we don't have to listen to our thoughts. So what I'm gonna ask you to do is sit down for 5 to 10 minutes in complete silence. And if you have kids, put them to bed. I know it's hard to do things like this when you have children, but put them to bed. Take 5 to 10 minutes for yourself in silence. No music, no podcast, nothing. Nothing on in the background. Then those thoughts get louder, don't they? You're gonna grab a piece of paper or you're gonna grab your phone, wherever you wanna write it down in there. Wherever you're gonna write this down, you're gonna write this down. You're gonna sit and you're not gonna try and fill in what these thoughts are gonna be. Trust me, if you're drowning them out for so long, they'll just come to you. You don't have to go searching for them. They will let themselves be known. You're gonna write down every single thought that is negative that you think about yourself. For me, when I last did this exercise, there were like 12 of them, and I wrote every single one of them down. They might not come to you all at once. They might come to you in the upcoming days as well. Then just write it down when you figured out another one of them. What I want you to be wary of is that when one thought starts, it might spiral into all of these little things that can make it seem like a big cloud of mess. Try, when you realize you're going down a spiral, to go back to neutral and find a new one. Because a lot of times our brains tend to feel so full and it feels like a clutter of things that you cannot really pinpoint what your issue is. Usually it can be boiled down to some core things that you think about yourself. And that these boiled down thoughts, like this little cluster of them, is what you can trace down your lack of self-confidence to, basically. So if you cannot figure out all of them in this first sitting, that's okay. You can figure out more later. So when you've written down all of the negative thoughts, we're gonna flip it. Everything negative you've written down about yourself, we're gonna turn into a positive. Very simple. Easy example. If you've written down, I'm ugly, you're writing down, I'm beautiful. If you've written down, I'm dumb, you write down, I'm smart. And it might make you uncomfortable because obviously you think the opposite of yourself. So it can happen that you feel very uncomfortable in your body. You feel very cringe writing that down. It might even feel like a bunch of lies, but I'm gonna help you by saying something very cliche. Nothing happens inside of your comfort zone. No change happens within your comfort zone. You are comfortable with telling yourself that you're ugly and that you're dumb and that you're unworthy. That honestly breaks my heart because I did the same to myself, and you wouldn't do that to your best friend or to your daughter or to your partner. The best thing to do is to write those positives down on a piece of paper and hang it somewhere that you can see it every single day, and you're gonna read it out loud to yourself every single day. And that also might feel very uncomfortable. However, you need to rewire your brain because you're now wired to tell yourself automatically every single day that you're ugly, that you're unworthy. All of those negative things are an automatic loop in your brain, and we need to replace those for positive things. We're gonna rewire and reprogram our brains to say the opposite things to ourselves so that we feel the opposite of what we felt before. I've done this exercise twice in my life now. I've done it when I was 18, I've done it now at age 25, and I have to say it makes such a huge impact. It did when I was 18 and it does right now make such a huge impact on how I feel and how I go about life and how I view myself. So right now I would like to ask you to please write down in the comments on a scale from 0 to 10 how self-confident you feel. Please try this and come back in a month and write down how much more confident confident on the scale of 0 to 10 you feel now? I know this is a very intense thing and it's very time consuming, but honestly, you clicked on this video for a reason. And I know our lives are super filled with so many things, but I would honestly say, please quit a few of those things to make space to work on your self-confidence. Because honestly, wouldn't you rather do a little less things in life, but be happy and have self-confidence and feel fulfilled instead of doing so many things just to drown out all of the negative thoughts and negative feelings that you have about yourself? I really hope this helps, and please let me know if it does or doesn't. Then we need to make a whole new thing for the other people out there, because everybody deserves to feel self-confident and be happy with who they are truly on the inside. I'm never done growing and I'm never done healing. So if you want to follow my healing journey, you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram. And I'll see you in the next one.